So today we want to review how to best prepare for your first rheumatology appointment. How do you prepare for it, and what should you expect when you're at your rheumatology appointment, with the idea of being able to get the most out of that time for your health and for you. So before the visit itself, there's some things that you want to consider. So first, make sure you know why you're seeing the rheumatologist. There are some folks who have a referral and they'll show up for the appointment but aren't entirely sure what the question that was asked of the rheumatologist, and therefore there's a disconnect of what you're trying to get out of the appointment and what the rheumatologist thinks you're trying to get out of the appointment. So it's good to make sure you're on the same page. Often that's talking to the referring provider, often your family physician, to make sure the two of you are on the same page of why that referral is going in. And even if it's a different reason, so at least you know, so you can explain what you're looking for as opposed to what that question is. And both things can theoretically then be addressed. So similarly, make sure you know what you want to get out of the appointment. What is the end result that you're looking for to make sure you get the answers that you want on that specific issue. Make sure you're familiar with the medications that you're currently on. That's going to help the rheumatologist know what you can safely take, what has been tried, and so forth. And including with current medications, we want to also consider anything over the counter, so it doesn't necessarily have to be prescription medications, as well as natural health products that you might be taking. So having a good sense of what those things are specifically, doses, all that sort of thing, when they started, all of that can be very helpful. Similarly, knowing the things that you've tried, particularly as it relates to your problem, can be very helpful. So the rheumatologist doesn't suggest the same sorts of treatments that maybe you tried a year or two ago, and we already know that they may not work or you don't tolerate them well. So we can try to continue to move things forward to get a solution that works for you. So trying to look back and see what has been tried is going to be really informative for the healthcare team. And finally, make sure that you write down any questions that you have. That appointment can feel like it goes by really quick sometimes, and there's lots of things to pay attention to. You're getting asked a lot of questions too. We want to make sure that your questions are addressed and answered. Have them written down so they're ready and you can ask them all when that time comes during the appointment. Very practical, but the other important thing to know is make sure you know where you're going. Make sure you have a route of how you're going to get there, be it car, bus, walk, train, whatever it might be. And make sure you give yourself enough time. In certain areas, traffic can be worse depending on time of day. Parking can often be difficult. Directions, if it's a bigger building in terms of where the exact clinic is. And sometimes even the check-in process can take longer than you think. So make sure you're there ready on time so you can be seen as quickly as possible as part of your appointment. And also you don't have to be worried if you are running late that you might miss the appointment or might get canceled or something like that, because we don't want that to happen. At the appointment itself, in addition to seeing the rheumatologist, some rheumatologists work as part of a team. So it may not be surprising and always good to know going in that you might see other people as part of your appointment. So there may be allied health professionals who work with the rheumatologist. That might include nurses, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, pharmacists, the clerks at the front desk. There may be a whole bunch of people who are part of that care team, and we want to work with all of them in a similar way because that's going to work best for your care and your health. So a number of rheumatologists have learners with them. That might be medical students, that might be residents, that might be residents who are on the verge of becoming rheumatologists on their own. Certainly you always have a choice to have learners involved in your health experience, but to be aware that you might be asked to have them involved. And of course, from your point of view, you may bring someone to the appointment as well. You may bring family or a close friend. Again, it may be worthwhile asking the rheumatologist's office in advance, or certainly at the appointment, just to make sure it's okay that they're included as part of that appointment. appointment, although usually that would not be a problem. At the visit, you're going to want to be able to tell your story. Why are you there today? What led you, from your perspective, to need an appointment? And usually that's not that someone told you that you have a diagnosis, but really, what's your story? What are you feeling? What are your symptoms? How is it affecting you? To really understand what's going on, how long it's been going on for, and how it's affecting your day-to-day life. In addition to telling your story, so something you're going to want to think about in advance to really be able to share those details, there's usually a physical exam. Often that's going to include looking at a whole bunch of joints and body parts. So you're often asked to change into a medical gown. If you'd prefer, you can always bring shorts and a t-shirt because that can work as well. And your rheumatologist may review any investigations that you've had done already to try to put your story, your physical exam, and those tests together to see what the final result of that would be. So what is that result at the end of the visit? So it may be that your rheumatologist or rheumatology team is able to give you a clear diagnosis, what is going on. They may not be as sure and say, we need to do some more tests or investigations. And with the diagnosis, or sometimes with the symptoms that you're having, they may be able to give you a treatment plan. And certainly there's lots of other videos that talk about diagnosis and treatments and even investigations that might apply given a particular rheumatic disease. But those are the components that typically we're listening for at an appointment. And certainly you want to make sure that you're listening for those things so you have an idea what the plan is. And if you're not hearing them, to ask what those steps are so everyone is on the same page. In addition to plan for diagnosis, investigations, and treatment, you want to make sure you have a clear idea of what the plan is for a next appointment. Will there be another appointment? Who do you follow up with? Is it the rheumatologist? Is it your family physician? And how will that be scheduled? So do you schedule it at a front desk? Will their office contact you? How does that work? Just to make sure, again, everyone is on the same page and nothing gets missed. Because if you're supposed to have another appointment, we don't want that to fall through the cracks. We want to make sure that you get the care that you deserve. And finally, and certainly we talked about this at the beginning, make sure by the end of the appointment that all your questions have answers to them. You deserve that, and it helps to make sure that everyone is on the same page. So if you are not sure about something, please ask, because ultimately that's going to ensure that the outcomes that you want in terms of feeling better are more likely to happen, and we can work together as a team. For more information on this and for anything else related to rheumatology, check out our other videos or feel free to check out our website at albertarheumatology.com.